You'll remember when Ford said this.
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or Constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful, because they'll have a hard time ever even getting a nomination in the future.
Before his death, President John F. Kennedy signed an executive order which was designed to strip away the power of the Federal Reserve. Kennedy was the last president who ever challenged the power of that Federal Reserve. One of the very first things Lyndon B. Johnson did when he assumed the office of presidency was reverse President John F. Kennedy's executive order, ensuring the Federal Reserve maintained its power over the American dollar. Now, the American financial system is designed with intricate policies and complicated language. It's designed that way to ensure the average American citizen doesn't develop a well enough understanding of it to better use it for their advantage. However, this animation does a fantastic job of simplistically breaking down the complicated structure of the American financial system and gives us an amazing representation of just what the Federal Reserve actually does. Check this out.
Exhibit A, those who have come to deposit and safely store their earned monies. Exhibit B, those who need to borrow said money for purposes unknown. Hey, that's me! Exhibit C, the bank only has so much money in the vault to lend out to people such as you. By the time he got to you, Pyle, his bank was out of money.
But he gave me lots of money and charged me a lot of interest.
Yes, that's the only way banks make money, by making debt loans. Debt equals money, Pyle. Remember that. Debt equals money. The more loans they make, the more money they make.
But if they don't have any money, then where did my money come from?
You're gonna want to take a step back.
Whoa! No way! Wait a second, Hartman. I just thought of something. Then where does the Federal Reserve get their money?
Say, Hartman,
No one is allowed inside the Fed. Not you, not me, no American citizen, no duly elected member of our Congress, not the Supreme Court.
not the Supreme Court?
Not the Supreme Court, not the Justice Department, not the CIA, DIA, FBI, ATF, ATE, NBC, not even G.O.D.
How come the government isn't allowed inside its own building?
Government. The Fed is a private bank owned by private stockholders. Do not let the name Federal fool you. This place is about as Federal Express.
A private bank? But private?
Shh. Best to keep your voice down, pal.
This is Ethan, Federal Reserve.
Hey, Ethan, Bill here, First National.
Hi there, Bill. How are you?
Good. We're running a little low on money.
No problem. How much you need?
Oh, how does 20 million sound? What?
Excellent. We'll ship it over first thing tomorrow.
Wait, he can just call up the Fed and ask for more money and they give him whatever they want?
No, pal. The Fed don't give the banks money. The Fed loans the banks money. The banks have to pay it back with interest.
Wait. I still don't understand. Where does the Fed get their money? I mean, if they're a private bank. You said they're a private bank, right? Okay, so who puts money into the Fed bank?
This is Mel, United States Mint.
Hi, ML. First National needs another 20 millis.
We're already running the presses full steam here, Ethan.
Gotta keep making loans. Gotta keep the money flowing.
All right, you're the Fed. Whatever you guys say. 20 million more by morning.
But I don't get it. What's so wrong about the Fed printing money?
Because it's unconstitutional, pal. Our treasury is supposed to create our money, but now the Fed controls the printing of America's money. Nobody gets a friggin' dollar that the Fed didn't print. So, they print the money, then they loan it to the government, then they charge the government interest, then the government taxes you to pay for it. Wake up, pal!
God, I don't see what the big deal is.
You know, you're right, pal.
Wait a minute. Wait, I am?
Yeah, I forget how effective they are at keeping you ignorant.
This is the James Webb Telescope. Does it look familiar, guys? If you've been on TikTok in the past week or so, then you probably have seen pictures very similar to this. And if you're not sure where I'm going with this, take a look at this. This here happens to be a patent for the Sun Simulator. There's a video going around this week on TikTok showing this, the apparent Sun Simulator. In this picture, you'll see a close-up of one of the reflections coming off of the sun from a high-altitude weather balloon that looks awfully similar to the patent for the Sun Simulator, which also looks very similar to the James Webb Telescope. Could it be that they had us distracted so much with all these great images from space from the James Webb Telescope that they were hiding the fact that this telescope was actually the Sun Simulator? Now, I'm sure all the NASA fanboys and heliosexuals having NASCasms over space pictures are going to have a field day with this. So, tell me what you think in the comments.
More people not talking about what is happening in Bangladesh right now because it is actually wild. So this week, massive protests erupted across the country. So in response, not only has the entire population been placed under a curfew enforced by the military, but the government also ordered the closure of all universities and have completely shut down the internet and all mobile services to try and stop the unrest. I mean, can you just imagine if your government shut down your internet? That's a country of over 170 million people now cut off from the world. That's wild. And it's literally turning into something you'd see in a movie because now they've stormed a prison and broken hundreds of people out. The government is being hacked by a group called The Resistance. And on the official website of the Prime Minister, it currently reads, "Stop killing students. It's not a protest anymore. It's a war now." What they're referencing is the 105 people so far killed in these protests according to an AFP count. So you're probably wondering, what has caused all of this? Well, Bangladesh have a job system in which more than half of government jobs are reserved for specific groups. And out of the total, only 44% of them you can actually get hired for based on merit. And when you have a country where over 40% of the youth are neither working or in university, jobs really matter. Some students want this job system abolished, while others want it to remain, which is why things have turned so violent and words like civil war are floating around now. But the only reason I even found out that this was going on was because hundreds of you guys messaged me. And it's just crazy that things like this can happen in the world and you could just go unaware.
That was know where public schools buy their food from for lunches?
Cisco.
Bali. From the Department of Defense. The DOD? The DOD. It's a total scheme to where Department of Defense, they go out to these food companies and they get the contracts and then they turn around and sell it to the public school systems. They are in complete control over this profit line.
Oh, that's scary.
I think they said that the school lunches is the only thing that's profitable in public schools.
That would make sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
But like the school doesn't have a say in what they can get for lunch. They are totally dependent on the Department of Defense to provide the food.
Interesting.
It's just weird.
That is like super weird.
Department of Defense controlling the school lunches I thought was super weird. Just the man wanting to get some moolah.
Moolah moolah.
Or
Joe Biden has been missing in action for years. The signature on his memo announcing that he is dropping out of the 2024 election has been proven to be a forgery. And according to the artificial intelligence voice app 11 Labs, the recent alleged phone call from Biden was created using the app.
I know yesterday's news was surprising and it's hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me.
Okay, let's just go on old 11 Labs and see if that's really all they probably used for this. So, upload. There we go. And let's see what we got. Yeah, looks like they didn't even really try.
By most accounts, there has been at least 3 fake Joe Bidens on camera since his election. We have seen images that show Joe Biden with different earlobes, which would be impossible if it were all the same person. We have seen videos that show what appears to be a rubber mask with a rubbery chin.
Virtually every
This is normal. Look at his forehead. This is bullshit. That's a mask. That's a skin mask. It ain't normal. Look at it.
In the early 90s, former head of disguise for the CIA wore a mask as she briefed George H.W. Bush in the White House about the latest disguise technology. She fooled him while sitting at his desk.
I was a little paranoid. I'd never worn one of these masks before in public, and you get nervous. Nobody paid any attention, of course, so I relaxed. We went in the Oval Office. So I showed him some photographs of disguises we had done for him when he was chief of disguise. We said, you might remember these. He did. I said, so I'm here to show you the next level. He said, so show me. I said, well, I'm wearing it, and I'll take it off and show it to you. And he said, no, don't take it off. And he got up. He came out. He walked and he looked, he went behind me, he was checking it out. He went back, he sat down, he said, take it off. So I just peeled off my face.
Whenever you connect to the internet on a public Wi-Fi network at airports...
This 40-year technology was classified until a few years ago.
And this is the only photograph I ever got. So I'm sitting in front of the president's desk with my hand in the air, holding the mask, showing it to him, and they airbrushed it out. So the picture in my library, I don't know what you would think I'm doing, but people say that's...
They airbrushed the mask out.
Yeah, it was classified. They gave me the picture of me.
I mean, I've seen the picture, but you can't tell.
You're seeing the recent pictures because now we can talk about masks. A year ago, I could not tell you this story. It was still considered classified.
Why could you say it now?
Because they have allowed it now. Which to me, what does that mean? Sources and methods are classified. This evidently is no longer classified. Perhaps they're not using these anymore. Or maybe they've gotten so good that what I'm saying has nothing to do with the new ones. I think that's more like it.
While many are making a fuss about a missing U.S. president and wondering who's running the country, U.S. presidents have been missing for decades. All we've had in the White House for our entire lifetime is a puppet frontman for the military-industrial complex and the big bank bureaucrats who have turned America into Incorporated. The forces running this country are still in charge. They are just looking for a new puppet to fool the masses into thinking America is the land of the free.
Let me ask you, how many times you guys made masks for presidents to distract the audience? Like, are there duplicates out there as well that we don't know about? Or we can't know the answer to that question? There's, I don't know.
Saddam had all these.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about? We have a picture of Saddam in a boat on the Bosphorus or something with his 26 doubles. They're all paddling. It's like 26 Saddams. Have you seen this picture?
I have seen it.
They all look exactly alike. It's brilliant.
So we've never done that you know about?
No. There's a long, great history of presidents doing that.
Okay.
But I don't know that we've ever done that.
I got it. Okay.
We are in a state of emergency right now, and people better wake the hell up to what's happening. Get ready for the mother of all false flag attacks.
We begin with the global computer crisis. The worst may be over, but the outage is still causing problems.
In the past few hours, we've gotten some really disturbing news about what's coming to the people of the United States and our infrastructure that we rely on every day to live our lives. They will use you like pawns, so don't fall for it. So a couple of big stories that we're tracking today. All of this thanks to cybersecurity company CrowdStrike pushing a simple software update, as they say. It backfired, brought down the United States banking industry, the airline industry, e-commerce, you name it. Oh, and by the way, don't call 911 because there are nationwide outages of 911 services all across the US. When the CrowdStrike CEO was asked about it, he looked like he had a heart attack on live television. Either that or he was trying to pass a kidney stone at the time. Watch.
Air travel, credit card payment systems, banks, broadcasts, street lights, 911, emergency, around the globe. Why is there not some kind of redundancy or some sort of backup? How is it that one single software bug can have such a profound and immediate impact?
when you look at the complexity of cybersecurity, you're always trying to stay one step ahead of the adversaries. Excuse me. Man, just 1 second, please.
Oh yeah, take a drink of water.
Yeah, that didn't go well. But this CrowdStrike story doesn't add up at all. Remember, CrowdStrike is the company that made up the fake Russiagate story. CrowdStrike was working for the Hillary Clinton campaign. And of course, a few hours ago, President Biden officially said he's not running for re-election, handing the torch over to Kamala Harris. And yet rumors are swirling this morning that Hillary Clinton will be the nominee at the Democratic National Convention. A coincidence?
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
And as journalist Aaron Mate reminds us, the FBI relied on CrowdStrike to independently investigate the hacked DNC servers. So I don't trust a damn thing that comes out of their mouths, and why should you? So when they tell us that a software update caused everything to collapse, don't believe them. Try going to your local bank ATM and take money out. Good luck. Chances are you won't be able to. I thought something was wrong with my ATM card yesterday. I tried 3 times at multiple locations, put my PIN in repeatedly. It kept spitting my card out. Like I was back in college, broke, sorry, no money. Then a woman trying to do the same thing in the other lane said, "The bank's down," she shouted. "Oh, the bank is down." Wait, what the hell did she just say? The bank is down? I can't get American paper currency right now? Oh, right. Most of America's infrastructure is down. That makes sense. Early voting was just starting in the battleground state of Arizona. Sorry, we have to close our electronic voting machines. You can't vote because America is down right now. Come back another time. Meanwhile, don't call 911 because 911 services are also reportedly down in areas all over the country. Last week on our show, we just so happened to be covering how the 911 grid is collapsing across the United States. Journalist Whitney Webb explained how this is intentional and our 911 services are now being outsourced to Israel.
And actually, there's another company that Peter Thiel funded that's involved with developing this pre-crime system in the United States by actually taking over county by county the nation's 911 emergency call systems. This is an Israeli founded company called Carbine 911. That was nominally headed for a long time by Ehud Barak, the former Israeli prime minister. Jeffrey Epstein funded it with $1 million. Allegedly, Leslie Wexner, his biggest patron, did as well.
This is a huge concern. I mean, as we head into this election, a lot of people saying, well, could we see some sort of, big national emergency? And now 911 networks are going down across the United States, as the USA Today reported this past week. Is this like an effort for them to say, hey, your 911 network is down? Well, we have the perfect solution for you. It's an Israeli-backed 911 network.
That is essentially what is happening, and it's actually been in the works for several years. For several years now.
Israel, which runs the entire United States Congress, can now also run our 911 emergency services in the United States. Makes total sense when you think about it, right? If I fall down, get hurt, call 911, it'll be routed right through Israel. What the hell is happening? While most people have been distracted by President Biden dropping out of the race or how many shooters tried to assassinate President Trump, newsflash, it was at least 2 people we now know, and possibly as many as 3. So they want you to look over there while they execute the next part of their plan over here to keep the deep state in power. President Biden, of course, is just a puppet for the deep state. Now, don't get me wrong, those are incredibly important stories. Trump's assassination, Biden being replaced. But what is coming is by all accounts bigger and will affect all of us. Pay attention to this, guys. What could be so big that it forces us into a lockdown, forces us to use their digital currency, forces us to change our behavior? Well, a massive infrastructure collapse, of course. An infrastructure collapse we can blame on another country. As BlackRock CEO Larry Fink just pointed out, you need to force people in order to change their behavior. You need to use force.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Of course you have to use force. People don't want your lousy digital currency. They don't want to be locked down at home and told what to do. We knew this was coming, of course. The WEF has been warning us for years that the next pandemic wouldn't be a virus, it would be a cyber attack. The WEF detailed this attack in their Cyber Polygon report. And of course, it's shocking that CrowdStrike is a proud member of the WEF. You can't make this stuff up, guys. So the way to keep Biden in power, keep the deep state in power, is to create a massive false flag that harms every one of us, and then we blame it on a foreign adversary. Like, 9/11, right? That's exactly how this works. So let's spin the wheel. Who could be behind all of this? Could it be Russia? Nah, they've tried that one. China? Nah, too obvious. Ah, yes, Iran.
Where we are now is not in a good place. Iran, because the nuclear agreement was thrown out, instead of being at least a year away from having the breakout capacity of producing fissile material for a nuclear weapon, is now probably 1 or 2 weeks away from doing that.
Over the past 24 hours, the White House is pretending to go into DEFCON 2, one step away from war with Iran. Oh, and the shooter that tried to kill Trump had an encrypted overseas account, or multiple encrypted overseas accounts. Dare I say he was an Iranian secret agent? Oh, that's what they're trying to tell us next.
Some other things are coming out, like the shooter had 3 encrypted accounts overseas. At the same time, we're having an Iranian plot. So, I mean, I think this is going to go much broader, much deeper.
Iran is only 1 week away from having a nuclear weapon. The shooter that tried to kill Trump was an Iranian spy, so we better go to war with them right now. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you in the corrupt town called Netanyahu. A U.S. war with Iran, of course, is Netanyahu's wet dream. He's been dreaming about it for many, many years. Meanwhile, half of CrowdStrike's servers are located in Ukraine. Ukraine is run by the CIA. Again, I'm sure it's nothing. Remember when Donald Trump told us all that CrowdStrike had the DNC server in Ukraine? The reason they had it in Ukraine was to hide it from the U.S. government?
For instance, I still ask the FBI, where is the server? So the server, they say, is held by a company whose primary ownership individual is from Ukraine. I'd like to see the server.
They gave the server to CrowdStrike or whatever it's called, which is a company owned by a very wealthy Ukrainian.
Again, I'm sure it's nothing. No, in fact, I'm sure it's something massive coming for this country, and people better be ready for it. Don't be fooled by the lies they are spinning right now. All the media will be on the same page when they try to trick you. They will all run stories almost within a 24-hour time period when they're trying to spin this yarn. They want you to be scared, and they want you to be sheep that they can control. Don't be sheep. Don't let them control you. Period. Don't fall for it.